Hello there and welcome to Wildlife Wonders. My name is Nikki. I will be talking today about some stuff. This video is going to be a different type video. Not that I have a type of video yet, but this one is going to be different. This is going to be basically just me talking, not very filtered, and I'm probably going to have to edit out a lot of uhs and me thinking about things. Editing is kind of hard, and I just haven't had the patience with it lately. I don't have a very good editing program, to be honest, at the moment, and so I'm just gonna go with like a different, lightly edited type of video today, and it's gonna be mostly just me talking, so I'm sorry if it's not interesting to you. You can click out now if you want to, but I'm just gonna go on. I'm interested in animals, as you obviously know from the title of the video, the channel, and all that stuff. And I don't really know from the perspective of other YouTubers or anybody else that deals within bioscience related to the animal field, how often this question gets asked. But for me personally, this question I get asked quite a lot, mostly on social media when people are trying to get to know me. Recently I was asked in person, and I decided I would address it and talk about it a little bit. The question, what got your interest started with animals? Or somewhere along the lines of that. Okay, so when I was little, my dad, I say he's an artist. He's a very good drawer, and he used to draw a lot when I was little, and it was just a hobby of his. He just doodle and produce these amazingly realistic photos. And some of the things that he would draw were things like hummingbirds or horses, which he's been practicing lately on, and I guess that's kind of when it started. I was a little girl. I liked his drawings a lot, and when we started traveling, because we traveled, I barely remember, I was so little. We traveled from Ohio to New Mexico, and sometimes we would just go on adventures, my dad and I. We were close like that, and that's something that he really liked to do a lot. He liked to be outside, and he's still like that. He loves to be outside. And we would cruise around, and, he'd take us to parks, and those were just some of the best times I remember when I was little. I loved going to parks. I loved being outside. I loved nature in general. I'm thinking about this home video we had a while back, and I remember I was playing in this sort of sand pit at our apartment, and I was so happy, and I was telling my mom, "Hey look, Mom, hey look, I found a bunch of red spiders," and I'm covered in red ants, and she's like, "Those are ants." And it was just hilarious because, I don't know, most little kids would probably be scared, but I was so happy and loving it, and they were just ants. And I've always loved birds. I remember, and I know you're not supposed to, but I was a little girl going to McDonald's, and I remember the McDonald's I went to all the time had an outdoor play area, and I would throw little crumbs of my french fries to the birds, and I'd watch sparrows eat them and stuff, and I would get so close to them, and it was just a magical moment for me to be so close to this living, breathing little bird, and I just love them so much. And I remember feeding ducks, and my dad sometimes, I remember there was a time where he found a possum skeleton on the side of the road, and he decided to keep the skull, and I guess most little kids would probably be "Ew, gross, it's dead, what happened?" But I was really intrigued by it, and I thought it was so cool, and the bones and stuff, and I was just really into it, So yeah, I guess that's where it started. These are my earliest memories when I was around 4 or 5. When I got a little older, I started watching Animal Planet all the time. I was a little kid, and Animal Planet was much preferred over any cartoon. I grew up watching Steve Irwin and The Crocodile Hunter, and I loved him so much. He was my hero when I was little. I found a DVD of his season 1 recently. I found it at a little tiny thrift store, and I got it, and I think about it a lot, and I haven't really watched it. I might watch it after this, but I don't know. It was my dream to go to Australia and be a part of his crew. That was something I wanted to make my reality, and I was around 10 or 11 when I decided this. Like, I'm going to Australia, and I'm going to see him, and I'm going to help him, and I'm going to go on adventures with him, and everything's going to be so much fun. He can meet my dad, and so, as you could imagine, when I was young, I can't remember how old I was, maybe still like 11, 12. I remember when Ocean's Deadliest was supposed to come out. I remember seeing the commercials for it, and I was so excited, and I was like, just so excited for it. And I'm telling you, when I watched it all the time. I watched him all the time. Him and Jeff Corwin, my favorite. And I would watch reruns, and it was just... I did get news. He passed away, obviously. It was very traumatic for me, and even my brother, who would normally tease me about me watching him all the time and stuff, even he felt bad for me, and everybody just knew it would devastate my little girl heart. And it was pretty heartbreaking. It's still really, really sad to me. But my dream didn't stop. He had always said, if you want to help me, you can come to Australia and you can do this. So, I still loved animals. I'm still doing all I can, and I'm currently still studying the animals in my area, specifically Cincinnati. And I'm learning a lot right now about birds and things about like skinks and all this. There's so much wildlife. There's so much life here compacted into this tiny little city. And, I guess I kind of committed to learning about specifically what's here and being very good at learning about what's here. I want to know everything I possibly can about what's here right now, because when I did move to Australia for a while, for a year, as my relatives and friends and family, people that know me personally, they know I went there. I was there for a whole year, and I learned all I could about what was in the area, specifically Brisbane. It was just amazing to see all this new wildlife. I did wind up going to the Australia Zoo, and it was just a dream come true. It was definitely a marker in my life. Unfortunately, nobody from the crew was there. Still, I enjoyed it very much. So I guess it just kind of started when I was little. I've always just been interested. It's something I am passionate about, obviously, because it's something I've wanted to pursue my entire life. It is still something that I do study and I enjoy to learn about, and if anybody knows something that I don't know, I want them to tell me everything, because I want to know everything I can about anything. It's something I plan to make a career of, not just because it's something I'm interested in, but because I feel like it's really important. Because I've expressed in earlier videos that I feel like education about animals is the most important thing that we can do to ensure their safety. Animals go extinct every day, and that's really sad. And I remember when I was little, in 4th grade, I learned a lot about the rainforest, and we need to do something to save it. I was really passionate about it then too, and I try to get my teammates passionate, my fellow 4th graders passionate about it too, just like I was. I just want to go into educating not just people that are already interested, but there's people out there that don't know what they want to do, and that's okay. Some people don't figure it out until they reach a certain age. That's fine, and I just want to open the door for them. You could do this, and it would be good for everybody. It's enjoyable, and, I just hope that I can find other people and inspire them if they love what I love, and I want them to do it too, And all the time, all the time. Every time I go into answering this question, the short thing is, I usually just say, I am just very passionate about it, and I love animals. People tell me all the time that they love animals too, and they love this certain type of animal and this other thing and they wanted to go into marine biology or something, and I'm like, do it, man. You can do it. And all the time, they say, I don't know, I just feel like I won't be good at it, or maybe I'll go into something else. I mean, I don't want people to feel guilty for not pursuing it, but I do want people to know that if you don't do it, you can't always put all your hope that somebody else will, because that's not always true. This field needs as many people as it possibly can get. If you want to be a veterinarian, which is something I heard a lot of when I was in grade school, and slowly it turned into something else, and people realized, like, oh, that's a lot of schooling, I don't want to do that anymore. You can always go into another field, and that's kind of how I wanted to go into bioengineering, and then I realized that's a lot of work. So, I just picked another field. Like, I wanted to pick a field that I would be good in all aspects. So I felt like animal behaviorism was something I belonged doing. I felt like comfortable in all aspects, and I really thought, this is for me. I just want to encourage people, like, if you want to do this and you can be serious about it, there's always a branch of this particular science for, like, anyone. If you love animals, there's a branch for you here, and we need you now more than ever. So that's just my take on the whole thing, but I just want to nourish them and protect them, and I feel like there's something to be treasured. So that all being said, I'm sorry if this video was quite long. I don't know if you decided to listen. I got a new microphone, if you haven't noticed, so I hope the quality is at least a little better for you. And I hope I made sense of this question, and if you plan on joining me and helping fight for the survival for our little friends. I almost said furry friends, but it doesn't matter if they're furry or not. I like all animals the same. There's always a branch for you. Even if you're just specific about it, a specific species, that's fine too. There's everything. Everything you can think of. It's here. Just if you're passionate about them, whether it be lions or like salamanders, just know that it doesn't really matter, that there's always room for more. And my laptop's dying, so I guess I'm gonna cut this off now. Thanks for listening if you did, and I hope you decide to stick with me. I know I haven't been very consistent in videos. I don't have a lot of subscribers at the moment, so that's not something that I'm too worried about. But I'm trying to come around, Thanks.